Hi everyone. When you go to high altitude place or an aeroplane, normally they provide with some transdermal patch that inhibit the vomiting. So what is the patch and how is going to be inhibit the vomiting process? Next, the one who is suffering with diarrhea or normally given this oral rehydration treatment. Okay, what is this ORT and how is going to be utilized? Let's see. So today we are going to discuss about the emetics and antiemetics. So this is a broad review of emetics and antiemetics, purgatives and antidiarrheal agents. So in this class we will be discussing the basic mechanism of action and classes of the drugs. So here first emetics. So emesis is nothing but a forceful expulsion of the GIT contents through the oral route. So here basically the vomiting is going to be triggered by various agents like the drugs, chemicals, even the pungent unwanted smell or drugs, toxicants. These are the agents which are going to be trigger this emesis. So here basic logic of this is, so whatever here from the aromatic characters, so these are going to be sensed by a particular region of the brain which is called as chemoreceptor trigger zone. So here normally the drug, the brain is covered with blood-brain barrier. In sense, so here the drugs are not usually allowed to enter to this. So but this medulla oblongata, this region is without any DBB, blood-brain barrier. So here, so this particular region can expose to various chemicals which we ingest. So obviously the individuals can feel vomiting if they are undergoing any radiation treatment or chemotherapy treatment, antibiotics, NSAIDs, etc. So obviously the individuals are going to be feel vomiting. So if you see this, so once this chemoreceptor trigger zone is activated, so this is going to be send the signals for the contraction of this diaphragm, and pilus region is going to be get contracted, and the body, fundus, and cardia is going to be get relaxed. So resulting of that, so here this sphincter and pilus region is going to be tightly closed, whereas this esophageal sphincter is going to be get relaxed. So resulting of that, when this contracted, so the contents of the stomach is going to be expelled through the esophagus and oral cavity. So this is the normal mechanism by which the emetics are going to be works. Okay, what is the use of emesis again? So here, if the individual consumes the toxic substances which are unwanted or overdose of the drug, so in that case, so you need to clean the stomach. You need to clear all the contents from the stomach. So in that scenario, you use emetic agents. So here the emetic agents can be broadly categorized into two. The CNS, the drugs acting on CNS. Example, apomorphine. So these are going to be acted by the D2 receptors. And drugs acting on periphery, that is by example is ipcac. So here this chemoreceptor trigger zone can be triggered or stimulated by various agents like histamine, dopamine, serotonin, and muscarinic. Okay, so these receptors are involved in the stimulation of CTs. So histamine receptor, D2 receptor, 5-HT3 receptor, and M1 receptors. So by this, the stimulation of the emetic process can be done. So next we will discuss about this anti-emetic agents. These are the agents which will decrease or block the emesis process. So for example, if the individual is consuming these antibiotics or chemotherapeutic agents, so obviously the CTS is going to be stimulated and vomiting process is going to be initiated. So now we want this chemotherapeutic agent to work. So we have to inhibit this emesis process. So that is can be done by again anticholinergics. So anticholinergics are the agents which will inhibit the specific receptor. Muscarinic receptor are going to be inhibited. Example, iosine. Okay, normally the patch, the transdermal patch which will give to to depress this emesis process is nothing but this iosine. Iosine patch will directly transdermally is going to be enter into the systemic circulation and is going to be block this anticholinergics. Okay, so next receptors are involved in this histamine. Histamine blockers. By blocking this histamine related receptors, we can inhibit the emesis process. Example, promethazine. Or by blocking the D2 receptors. Example, haloperidol. By blocking the YH3 receptors is example, androstenedione. And prokinetics, example, domperidone. So these are the agents which will inhibit the emising process. So next we will go for the purgatives. These are the agents that stimulates the bowel movements. So here the infrequent bowel movement can be treated by using these purgatives. So here the basic cause of this the condition called as constipation. Constipation is because of the using of the antacids like aluminum hydroxide or calcium carbonate. These agents can constrict, which will act, which increases this constipation process. Or by using this anticholinergic agents. Anticholinergic agents normally it will decreases the secretion. So resulting of that there will be any fluid for free movement of this stool. So resulting of that the hard stool is going to form that may cause this constipation. Next, antidepressants. These drugs also could decrease the peristaltic dynamics. Hence, not only these drugs, so many drugs has the impact on this peristaltic movement. So here we can classify these purgatives as laxatives, purgatives and catheters. So laxatives are said to be the mild purgatives which smoothens the stools, whereas purgatives is moderately working and catheters are forceful working agents. So we can categorize these purgatives into four: the bulk forming agents, lubricating agents, stimulants and osmotic purgatives. So normally what happens when we take less food, so this less food cannot allow the stimulation of this peristaltic movement. So in that case we need to increase the bulkiness of the food or so here we use this bulk forming agents. So what normally what happens? So these agents can has the ability to absorb the moisture and it will swell. When it swells, it will increase in the volume and it can stimulate the bowel movement. So example, bisphenol, methyl cellulose, bran, etc. So here once the bulkiness is increased, obviously stimulation is going to be occur. Next, lubricating agents. So here, because of the anticholinergic agents or because of the antidepressants, there will be less secretion is going to be there in the stomach. So resulting of that, so the stool is going to be stagnated in that particular area. So in this case, we need to increase the fluids in the stomach. So here, lubricating agents will use some specific oils which cannot be absorbed by the small intestine. So we use paraffin and biscaderin. These agents act as a lubricant and allow the free movement of the stool. Next, stimulants. These are the agents which will forcefully enhance the peristaltic movement of the GI. So resulting the evacuation of the bowel can be taken place. Example, senna, cascara and castor. Last one is osmotic purgatives. These are the agents of hypertonic solutions. So when we give this hypertonic solution, so this solution cannot absorb by our small intestines. But so it has, since it is a hypertonic solution, it has the ability to drag moisture or water from the nearby tissues. So resulting of that, the water content of this void is going to be increased. So that's how these osmotic purgatives are going to be used. Example, milk of magnesium, magnesium hydroxide, sodium sulfate, sodium potassium tartrate. So these are the examples of this osmotic purgatives. Next we go for the antidiuretic. Antidiuretic agents, the agents which will inhibit the diarrhea. The osmotic load of the luminal is the main cause of the diarrhea. So this osmotic load may be because of the virus or the bacteria which pulls the water. So normally what happens? So these agents, the bacteria or virus, it will damage the sodium potassium ATPase or the mucous membrane. Resulting of that, the cyclic AMP and cyclic GMP of the cells are going to be increased, resulting of the loss of the salts. When salts are released in the lumen, normally water follows the salts, and there is a high content of the water is going to be present in the small intestine and bowel. So that is simply termed as a diarrhea. So here in this process we will be losing a lot of water, minerals and micronutrients, which are very essential for the daily maintenance of the cells. So here apart from the treatment, first maintenance plays a vital role in the saving of the life of the individual. So here maintenance in the sense, so whatever the minerals we lost because of this diarrhea, okay, so we want to replace it. So we can replace it by the IV fluids, 5% of dextrose or simple saline, or by using this oral rehydration therapy. So oral rehydration will be the composition includes sodium chloride 2.6 grams per liter, potassium chloride 1.5 grams per liter, glucose 13.5 grams per liter, and trisodium citrate 2.9 grams per liter. So this solution is prepared and has to ingest every half an hour to 1 hour, so that the minerals can be maintained. So if these minerals are not maintained properly, obviously the systemically there will be acidosis or alkalosis that may cause the damaging of the vital functioning organs. Okay, so thereby the death may take place. So to avoid that, so we have to use this oral rehydration therapy for proper maintenance. Apart from that, we can use these drugs, codeine and loperamide. So these are the agents which will decreases the bowel movements. So when the bowel movement is decreased, so here there is enough time to this lumen to absorb the moisture. So in that way it should be used. So bismuth sulfate, salicylate and methylcellulose is spagula. So these are the agents which will absorb the moisture. So it will not, free moisture is not going to be, fluid liquid is not going to be available. So next, apart from that, we use this probiotics, for example, lactic acid spores, which will increase the microbial flora for the easy and recovering of this situation. Okay, this is how we are going to treat the diarrhea. Okay, hope this video is useful.